crowds will take it elsewhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next President of the United States, Mr. Donald J. Trump.
Rising up, back on the street, did my time, took my chances. Went the distance, now I'm back on my feet. Just a man and his will to survive. So many times it happens too fast. You trade your passion for glory. Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past. You must fight just to keep them alive. It's deep eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight. Rising up to the challenge of our rival. And the last known survivor stalks his prey in the night. And he's watching us all with the eye of the tiger. Face to face, out in the heat, hanging tough, staying hungry. They stack the odds, still we take to the street for the kill with the skill.
Wow. Amazing. Amazing. Oh, that is amazing. I only wish the press was honest and they'd show you. They won't, you know that. They're not going to show. Among the most dishonest people you'll ever meet. Bad people, bad people. Why don't you show the crowd, folks? Why don't you show it? Go ahead. Show the crowd. Show the crowd. Go ahead. See those cameras? They're not moving. We're going to work on them a little later. Really dishonest people. And I tell it every night. My wife, I come home, I'll have crowds like this. She'll say, were there many people there? Because these guys keep the camera right on my face as small as they can, and they never like to show. They're dishonest people, folks. Dishonest people. And I mean bad. So I'll tell you who wasn't dishonest, though. I don't know if you've read it. And we have to do this because one of the really great stories and true, Time magazine this week. Time. And what they're talking about, it's not just me, it's you. It's a movement that's going on. We have a movement going on. This isn't like a normal situation. These other guys come up, the other candidates come up and they'll have like 59 people. They'll have 104 people. Jeb Bush spent $69 million. He's nowhere. He's got nothing. We should give that money to the veterans and to the wounded warriors. That's where it should go. But they really captured it on the cover, and this writer, he's a fantastic writer, really captured it in the cover of Time. And I'll tell you what, I thank Time, because frankly, I've been on Time so much, I'm on the cover all the time. But this one I liked. This one I liked. Here you go, folks, enjoy it. Good catch, good catch. So, we don't win anymore, you understand that. We don't win anymore. We're a country that doesn't win. And we're going to start winning. You have no idea how we're going to win. But we're a country. When was the last time you saw something? We beat China in trade. We beat Japan at something. like trade with all those cars pouring in. And we give them, you know what we give them? Like nothing. When was the last time you saw us beat Mexico or anybody at the border? We don't have borders anymore. You know, when you don't have borders, you don't have a country. You don't have a country. And how about today? Did you see that performance? Did you see what they did to us, Iran, the way they took us and made us? And except for the fact that they get, like over the next couple of days, $150 billion. We paid them. We're giving them $150 billion. And I guarantee you, and they desperately need it, so we're paying a terrorist state. If it weren't for that, you wouldn't have these guys back. You wouldn't have had this 10 group of 9 men and a woman, wonderful people. I mean, I didn't love the way he talked. I wouldn't have maybe used the word sir, but it's tough. You know, you're in a bad situation. But the way that looked, with the guns to their heads, they're down on the floor with their hands up, and then you listen to Kerry. Wasn't it wonderful what Iran did? They're waiting for the check. These people are just, I've never seen anything like it. We have grossly incompetent leadership, and we're going to end it. We're going to end it. We're ending it. So sad. So sad. Now, you take a look at Iran. So it starts when? It started forever. I've never seen a deal take so long. One of the worst deals I've ever seen. So they still have our 4 hostages. You know that. I call them hostages. They're not prisoners. Because now I understand they want to start negotiating for these 4. But they said not 4. We're only going to go 3. Because a writer for actually the Washington Post, who should not be there, and I'm no fan of the Washington Post, I want to tell you, but he should not be there. He just was convicted of some nonsense, and they put him in. So they said, we're going to negotiate for 3, not 4. They want so much. They said, we want a lot. Now, why didn't we get it? We didn't get it because Kerry shouldn't be in the position he's in. Shouldn't be in the position he's in. And by the way, this isn't like, you know, like maybe all you do 3 years ago, whenever the hell the longest negotiation. A lot of times we all read The Art of the Deal, right? Almost everybody, right? Kerry did not read The Art of the Deal, I'll tell you. And Obama definitely did not read The Art of the Deal. Except when it came time to buy his house. No, he read it when he bought his house in Chicago. But that's a very deep story. You'll figure that one out. But when you look at what happened, they got every single thing. The Persians are great negotiators. They'd say, we want this. Kerry would say, no, you can't have that. But we want it. Okay, you have it. We never walked. At home in Iran, they were celebrating the deal during the deal. If anybody ever did what they did to us, they're screaming and saying essentially that our people are incompetent. They don't know what the hell they're doing. We're making a great deal. They're dancing in the streets, right? They're dancing in the street before the deal's made. So now we have to give them, like almost immediately, $150 billion. So here's what should have happened. If we had a real president, not the president that made a speech last night where everybody fell asleep, and what he said, hey, look. So sad. You know, he's trying to justify the economy. Let me tell you, first of all, it's the slowest recovery in our history. Slowest. And it's not a recovery. By the way, you look at what's going on. Take a look at what's happening on Wall Street. You know, the only flicker, and this was largely because of outside sources and the bubble. It's a big fat bubble, folks. Watch. But the only flicker they had is Wall Street. And a lot of it was going up. They're not making any money. It's going up. They have some of these internet companies that don't make anything, and their stock keeps going up. Watch. We had a bubble last time. Watch this one. This is going to be a beauty. So what happens, and what Obama was saying, President Obama, because we have to treat him with respect, right? Yes? So what President Obama was saying last night about the economy. So the median income was higher 10 years ago. I mean, literally higher when he took office. and even beyond, higher when he took office than it is now, okay? And I'll tell you something. There's a lot of problems out there. If there weren't, if we were doing well, I wouldn't have 15 or 20,000 people. We sent 5,000 people away who I have to come back and do another one. No, we have to. I have to. No, we sent 5,000 people away. So just think of this. So you have a president who's African American. Good, I love that. Except less has been done for African Americans than anybody. They're having one of the worst times they've ever had. African American youth. See? Oh, you're going to love me. You're going to love me. Thank you, man. I think that's great. Is that great? Huh? Is that great? He's just become a star. He's a big star. Now you're really going to be. Thank you, man. That's cool. That's very cool. And by the way, I didn't put him there, and I'm not paying him, and I never saw him before. Here's another guy. Hey, here, right here. Thank you. That's so nice. So great. So, you know, they had one of the polls come out. Speaking of African American, they had one of the polls come out. And it said that Trump, because, you know, as Republicans, for whatever, 5, 6, 7% African-American vote. And one of these polls came out, and the pollster said, there's something wrong. Trump had 25%. It was the highest number ever in the history of the pollsters. It was 25%. And the MC, the person in charge of the show, said, wait a minute. If Trump gets 25% of the African-American vote, the election's over. We might as well not even have it. Okay? And I'll tell you something, and it's coming out now, CNBC, a lot of them are coming out. They say that if I run against Hillary, she's going to have a little problem here, folks. I don't know. You know, she could have a problem. But if I run against Hillary, they're saying it's going to be the largest voter turnout in the history of the United States, which I agree, right? I agree. The largest in the history, which is a great thing. Now look at the debates. Fox had 24 million, the biggest ever in cable. And I don't mean debates, I mean shows. The biggest ever in cable. 24 million. A few weeks later, CNN, another group that doesn't move the camera, by the way. CNN, no. Boo, boo. So sad. I mean, it's here we are. We fill this incredible arena. It's an arena, and they won't even show. I'm telling you, they don't show it. They don't show it. I remember. I have to say, 2 weeks ago, I had a place where I had 9,000, 10,000 people. They didn't mention that. A week later, Bernie Sanders had 3,000 people. Who is second? By the way, he's second, but a deep second. Okay, way, way behind. He had 3,000, and the announcer goes, the crowd was massive, 3,000. I had so many times. It was like, it's so unfair, okay? It's so unfair. True. You know, it's sort of funny. Should I tell you a quick New York Times story? Do you want to hear it? So you talk about, I get so, they kill me. They write the worst stuff and just, so I look, because friends of mine made a lot of money on the New York Times. And they sold, think of this, for 700, I mean, the whole thing is, in fact, I'll go over something first. They bought a building. It used to, and it was bought many, many years ago. It was like a cathedral, okay? They sold it to a friend of mine. And they sold it for like $125 million, he flipped it for $525 million. They buy the Boston Globe, okay? Good newspaper. They treat me nice. I'll tell you, the Boston Globe's been treating me great. It's lucky the Times doesn't own it, because we're doing great in New Hampshire. And we're doing great in Massachusetts. You know, Tom Brady loves Trump. I love Tom Brady. Tom Brady said some great things about me. He said, Trump's a winner. Trump's my friend. And it's amazing what that did to Massachusetts poll, like 52%. I mean, Tom Brady's a great guy. So listen to this. The Boston Globe They bought it for $1.4 billion. They sold it for $70 million for a loss of almost their entire investment. And then they tell you what to do. Why? They do an editorial and they say, do this, do that. Why? The Boston Globe, take a look at it. So their real estate, they sold it like for $150 million in New York. A friend of mine bought it. He sold it not a long time later for over $500 million, I think $525 million. So he made this massive profit in a short time, and they're failing. So many are failing. The bad ones are failing. You know, it's interesting. The good ones aren't really failing. The bad ones are failing. But the New York Times, they treat me very, very badly, very badly. And I always tell the story. They buy a building, and they do this and that. They lose so much money, $1.4 billion, and they get like 75. And I think the 75 was fictitious. So we have to remember very dishonest people, and just remember how really bad they are at real life, okay? Just remember that, folks, you know? They're bad. They're so bad. Okay. So with the Iran deal, what you do is the following. You go in, thank you, I'll be president. Man, you know, we're going to give it a hell of a shot, I'll tell you that. Look. So whenever this deal started, nobody knows. They don't want to talk about it because it took so long. Somebody called up one of the papers. How long should that have deal taken? Maybe a day. They asked me, my opinion. Maybe a day. They said, what do you mean a day? I said, could take a day, but give it a week. This thing's been under negotiation for years, right? Years. So with the deal, what you do is you have the right president, the right messenger. You go in with one of my guys that are killers. You know, Carl Icahn endorsed me. A lot of the big businessmen, they all want to come. We're going to take back our horrible trade deals with China, with Japan, with Vietnam, with Mexico, with all of them. With all of them. We got the greatest business people in the world right here. And I'll tell you, I know them. I know the good ones, the bad ones, the average ones, the ones that people think are good that are no good. We are going to have a whole, you know who gets that job? Political hacks. Political hacks. Third-rate people know nothing, and they're dealing against these guys from China. And I love China. They pay me millions of dollars all the time for apartments. I have the largest bank in the world as my tenants. Nothing wrong. But they're too smart for our leadership. And we have the greatest deal, and they're dying. They don't want money. They don't want salaries. They want to show everybody how good they are. And some are not nice people. Do we care? Do we care? So we're going to get the greatest people in the world. We're going to renegotiate those trade deals. So, little thing. We go 3 years ago, and you say to the people, the Persians, you say to Iran, you say to their negotiators, we've got to have our prisoners back. We got to have them back now, before we start. And this is like more than 3 years ago. And you just walk in, and you say, we've got to have our prisoners back. They're going to say, no, got to have them back. You don't need them, good for us. You don't need them, good for us. And then we go, what do? Bye-bye, right? We go, bye, see you, have a good time. Good for us, good for the deal, frankly, because our people are angry, and they are angry. One of the commentators said to me that Nikki Haley, a very nice woman, she said, I'm an angry person. And they said to me, they said you were an angry person. I said, I am. I'm very angry. Because I hate what's happening to our country. I am angry. I'm very angry. No, that took place. Now it's true. It took place on CNN today. Are you an angry person? And I was supposed to say, no, I'm really very happy. I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled that we're giving Iran $150 billion. Wonderful deal. I'm thrilled. So I said to myself, well, wait a minute. That's not, let me give them a different. So she said, very nice. Very nice. Are you an angry person? I said, yeah. I don't think of it that way, but I'm really angry. Because we're being led by very stupid people that don't know what they're doing. Stupid people. So with the Iran deal, just as an example of one of many, and all of our deals are that way. But you walk in, you say, we want our prisoners back. They say no. You say, we want them back. No. Good for the deal. No. They'll still say no. They're going to say no, 100%. We're going to walk out. Bye-bye. We walk. Now you double up and triple up the sanctions. Within 48 hours, they will call you and say, you have your prisoners. Now, I don't tell you the second part of the equation because I don't want to mention it with the prisoners because you can't pull them both off. So now you go in again. Now we have our prisoners. You wait till they're in the air, flying over our territory. Now you go in again. Hi, folks. Good morning. Everything good? Listen, we're a debtor nation. We owe $19 trillion. It's going to be 21 with the stupid budget deal they just made. This budget deal was the worst. They call it the omnibus. The omnibus. This budget deal, so crazy. Okay, going to be $21 billion, right? So we go in and we say, phase two, we got the prisoners. They're home. They're happy. They're with their wives. The one is there because he's a pastor, he's a minister, he's Christian. He's there because he's a Christian in the worst jail in all of the Middle East, they say. And that can be pretty bad, right? And I met his wife. She's so nice, and she doesn't understand. Why didn't he come back with this deal? We're giving him all this money. We're giving him all this access to weaponry. They're going to have nuclear weapons. They don't have to develop them. They can buy them. They've got so much money now. They're not going to develop. They're going to buy them. So now you go back for seconds, right? You say, by the way, thank you for the prisoners. Listen, one other thing, minor subject. We're not giving you back any money. We don't have the money. You know what you do? And all you do is say, we don't have the money. We don't have it. You simply say, we don't have it. We want to have it. We want to give it to you. You know, because that's called taking the lumps out, right? You know, you want to be nice. You don't want to be too aggressive. They just gave you your prisoners. So I'd love to give it to you. We don't have it. We're a debtor nation. We owe $19 trillion. We can't give you the 150. We can't give you 10 cents. We don't have it. It'll take a little while for them to recover from that. And then they'll probably come back. But if they don't, who the hell cares, okay? You know, who the hell cares? They'll probably come back. So then you look at what happened today. 2 little boats going around. They get caught. And you watch the poor guy, the head guy, you know, apologizing, and it's very sad. I'm sure Kerry apologized too, by the way. I'm sure. Or begged, probably begged, because it makes us look so bad. So he probably begged, please, let them go, please. You're making us look so bad, right? How about the timing? This could only happen to Obama, right smack before his speech. Right smack before his speech. This is Jimmy Carter stuff, believe me. What's going on now? We're now back. We are now back in the age of Jimmy Carter, okay? We're right now back in that age. Remember the hostages? We couldn't get them back. So I look at it, and I hated watching that today. And I say, you know, the great thing, I don't use teleprompters, right? I don't read speeches. So when a current event happens, we can actually talk about it. This happened a few hours ago. You know, most of these guys, they have their lobbyists. They have all these people are writing speeches for them. They have their pollsters. They can't talk without a pollster. You know, they can't talk. They get all the special interest money in. Believe me, so much special interest that the politicians, they're all talk, they're no action. All talk, no action. They're controlled by their lobbyists and their special interests and their donors, totally. And if it's bad, remember this. If it's bad for the United States, and if it's good for them and the people they're representing, forget it. The United States doesn't have a chance. I know the lobbyists. Hey, until 7 months ago, I was a huge donor. I was a big guy. You know, I would have lobbyists. I know many of the lobbyists. When they give a guy like Jeb, who's, by the way, oh, is he gone? But when they give him $5 million, and the reason I talk about him, he spent so much money with negative ads. I mean, he's the only guy. He's doing all these negative ads. And, you know, so you got to say he gets it. But when you give a guy like Jeb, or when you give Marco or Ted or any of them a lot of money, they have total control. If not total, how about 90%? Okay, maybe not total, but 90%. You can't have it. I'm self-funding my campaign. I'm putting up my own money. And it's turned out to be much more important. You know, my people said that'd be a very big thing. I said, really? I don't think it's that big a deal. Every time I go someplace, I say, do you think it's important? The place goes crazy. They like it. I'd rather not do it. You know how much money You know how much money I would have collected if I wanted to collect money and put it in one of these, crooked super PACs? I would have the biggest super PAC ever created. I have guys coming up, they would give me whatever I wanted, especially when you're number one. I've been number one almost since I announced. I announced on June 16th. Been amazing. In fact, speaking of that, we've got to go over, right? Everyone says, why do you go over the polls? Because I'm number one. True. If I'm number two, I don't go over the polls. If I'm number 9, I don't go over the polls. But even some of the candidates, Donald, why do you keep going over the polls? I said, where are you? Well, we're number 9 this month. And we didn't make the main stage. But why do you talk about that? I talk about it because, you know what? I want to show the tremendous crowds that we get, that we're kicking ass together. We're all kicking ass. All kicking ass. And you know what? You can call this the silent majority, which some people say, oh, we shouldn't use that term. It's a very descriptive term. But it no longer works because it's not really a silent majority. It's a noisy as hell majority. It's a noisy as hell. So, first of all, I have to start off. Every debate poll, every one from the beginning, all of the debates, I've won. And they'll check me. I have to, check it out, fellas. But they have these polls, online polls. I didn't even know a thing like that. They have polls for everything. And you'd have somebody like Drudge, who's a fantastic guy. You'd have Time Magazine. You'd have PBS, NBC, Fox. You have them all. You have a lot. You have like 8, 9, 10. I come back on the plane. How am I doing the poll? Oh, you're really... So... we take a look at some of these polls. I'm at 69%, 59%. This is with 14, 15 people. So I win them. But I guess most important, last time we had a debate, and the day after the debate, a poll came out, a major poll. I was 11 points up. You saw that. Now we have another debate tomorrow. They'll all be attacking me. Like, they attack. Hey, whatever, right? Whatever. Thank you. No, they attack. But they don't understand that, unlike this country, I attack back. And so far, we've had like 9 or 10 that really attacked. Most of them have already left the race. Some of them started at 7 and 8. And after they attack, I don't even know what happened. Wouldn't it be great if we had a country like that? People look at us, they talk badly, they go down the tubes. Don't we love that? They've all gone down the tubes. So far, everyone, other than Ted, because Ted's been really nice until the last couple of days. Ted Cruz. He's been really, really nice. Other than the last couple of days, getting a little testy. I've been waiting. You got a little problem, you got to sort of make sure you can run. You got to make sure you can run. A lot of lawyers say you can't run if you do that. You can't be born in Canada. You can't be a Canadian citizen. And I hope it works out for him. I really do. Every time I have a meeting with the press, the first question they're asking me is this. But you got to be able to run. So I'm not going to get into it tonight. I'm sure they'll get into it tomorrow night. But you got to be like some of the greatest lawyers from Harvard, a very good lawyer, right? Lawrence Tribe said, it's not a settled matter. Supposing he runs and everybody's banking on him, and then the courts rule that he can't run. That's not so good. What do? Concede the election to Hillary Clinton or to crazy Bernie? Right? I mean, Bernie, I don't know who I want to run against more. I don't know. The question was asked, who do you want to, because, Bernie has made some progress with her. I mean, I just have this vision of Bernie when they took over the microphones, right? Remember? And he went back, but they came up stage, 2 young women. They came up stage screaming, screaming, screaming. They took over his mics, and he went like this, oh. And they talked, right? And they started talking, and the audience go, wait, we want to hear him. And I never saw anything like that. One thing, I don't care how many people come up here, nobody's taken over my mic, okay? Nobody. So in Iowa, we have, you don't hear these polls. It's amazing. CNN probably spends more money than anybody in polls. When I get a good result, they don't want to broadcast it. So we had in Iowa, you don't hear this, CNN came out with a poll recently. It was 33 Trump, 20 for Cruz. You don't hear that, right? You don't hear that. Then other ones came out, Quinnipiac, 31 for Trump, 29 for Cruz, 33 for Trump. Okay, public policy, 28 for Trump, 26 for Cruz. NBC News, they should love me. I did The Apprentice. I made them a fortune. You know why they don't love me? Because I turned them down. I said, I can't, you're not allowed to do a show. They wanted me so badly. Great people, and they came up to see me. Steve Burke, one of the great people in business, head of Comcast, came up to see me, wanted me to, I said, Steve, I can't do it. I'm running for president. I think. I said, I think. Because I was about a month away. And I said, and I said, too, it takes guts to run. It really does. It takes guts. I never did this stuff before. Who knew that this was going to end up being like this? Who knew? But NBC has Trump 26, Cruz 24. All right. Then we go to New Hampshire. I love New Hampshire. These people are amazing. And I'll tell you what, I think I'm going to win Iowa. A lot of people said, it was so foolish that he said he thinks he's going to win. They'd like me to say, I'll do well. That way, if I don't win, you sort of go, I don't care. I'm doing great with the evangelicals. And in the country, I'm leading with evangelicals, okay? I'm Protestant. No, I'm doing great with evangelicals. I'm doing great with the Tea Party. They're amazing people, the Tea Party people. They're amazing people. You know what, the Tea Party, they get a bad press. The Tea Party, basically, very simple. They want to see our country be great again. That's what they want. So in New Hampshire, we're killing it. Trump, Monmouth poll. Trump, 32%. Cruz is second at 14. NBC, Trump, New Hampshire, 30%. Rubio is second. Whoa. Whoa. But Rubio, and he's a nice guy, I like him, but I'm beating him in Florida, big league in the poll, right? Big league. Big league. So you have a governor who's got very low energy, named Bush. You have Rubio, who's a sitting senator, and you have Trump. Now, I have a lot of property. Doral, does everybody love Doral Country Club? It's the greatest, right? A lot of stuff all over Florida. So I employ thousands of people in Florida. But Trump is winning like 32 to 12 to 4 or 5 or something. I mean, Trump is kicking ass in Florida. Can you believe that? Amazing. Amazing. So New Hampshire, special place, great people. Trump, 32. Next is 12. Reuters National. Reuters, great company, great people. When they treat me good, I call. By the way, if I ever get a good story in the New York Times, I'll say they were fabulous. I was only kidding. I'll say the Boston Globe deal was actually great, okay? But I don't expect they'll treat me too well. Reuters, great company. Trump, 41. Now that's 41 with like 15 people. So I have 41% of the vote. You have 15 people. Second is 14, so it's 41-14. Gravis National, great company, great pollster. Trump, 41. Second is 20. That's not good. That's getting too close. Wow. That's only 21 points up. New York Times National just came out. Trump, 36. Next, 19. NBC News. Trump, 38. Next, 18. So the point is, and here's all the online polls, okay? These are all the online polls for the debates. I hope I have another one tomorrow. I hope that I do well in the online stuff. But who knows? Who knows? Who knows? So it's amazing. But the point and the reason I like to tell people, because we have so many volunteers. I was taking pictures in the back with just a few of them. And we have so many incredible people that are they're so passionate about this. Last time they were not passionate. We should have won. We had a failed president, and something happened to Mitt. I don't know what the hell happened. But it's like he disappeared in the last month, right? He was building a garage someplace in California for 12 cars. I don't know. There was a lot of bad stuff happened. And I called his campaign. I said, you got to get him on. Say what you want about Obama. He was on Jay Leno. He was on David Letterman. He was all over the place. And I said, you got to get out. And for some reason, they disappeared, they lost, and they should have won that election. Believe me, they should have won that election. And you know what happened? I backed McCain and he lost. I backed Romney, gave him a lot of money, both of them, and he lost. And I said, this time I'm going to do it myself. Okay? Right? Amazing. Amazing. So, you ready? Got to get rid of Common Core. Really bad. Really, really bad. Got to get rid of it. Got to get rid of it. We want our children educated locally. We want local people. We want mothers and fathers. We want people that love the children, that take care of the children. We don't want a bureaucrat from Washington that's making $400,000 a year and frankly couldn't care less except for the amount of money they make. We don't need it. We don't need it. When we do so badly, when we spend more money per pupil than any place anywhere in the world, and we're ranked number 28 in the world, and third world countries are ahead of us, there's obviously something not so good, okay? So we get rid of Common Core, and some of the people, Bush and others, they like Common Core. I mean, it's ridiculous. And I'm a big education person. I love great education. It's going to make such a difference. We're bringing it back to the locale. Second Amendment, we're going to shore up the second. They want to take the guns away. They want to, step by step. You know, you see this new deal. We have a mental health problem. By the way, they're closing all of these mental health institutions. And Big League, they're closing them one by one, by one, by one. And we have a mental health problem, and we have to do something about it. But we have to maintain our Second Amendment. We cannot let them chip away at it. If, as an example, the toughest gun laws, they say practically in the world, is in Paris and France. You can't have a gun in France. You can't have a gun in Paris, even tougher. Can't have a gun unless you're a bad guy, in which case you walk around with guns, right? So they have a thing where 130 people were killed. They had thugs walk into these different places, small group of places, and say, get over here, bum. Get over here, bum. Get over here, bum. Strange sound, but you know what? A sad sound, a very sad sound. Nobody had a gun, so the bullets went the other way. So the bullets went the other way. And if they did, you wouldn't have 130 people dead and others to follow because they have so seriously wounded people. You take a look at what happened with these two people that became radicalized. She was probably radicalized him. The couple they talk about on television, a young couple, they're not a young couple. These were two horrible human beings who worked in a place. The place gave them their wedding reception, gave them parties. They walked in and they killed 14 people. I don't know, something going on. Something bad is going on, okay? And when I say it, people say, oh, that's terrible. Something bad is going on. We got to get to the bottom of it. Now, they had all sorts of pipe bombs. They had all sorts of stuff in the apartment. People knew it was there. Their friends knew it was there. You don't walk into an apartment and see pipe bombs all over the place and you say, oh, this is a normal situation. So they knew bad stuff was going to happen. Nobody reported them. Why don't they report them? To me, those people that didn't report, and they know exactly what, because when they got letters, they said it wouldn't be politically correct to report them. I mean, you know, the whole thing, that was given to them by the lawyer. So nobody reported them. So you had 14 dead, others to follow, very seriously wounded people, okay? You have gun-free zones on military bases. I'd end that in my first hour in office. My first hour. I would end that. So you have gun-free zones on military bases. And you had 5 soldiers killed. One of them was a world-class marksman, one of the best in the country, highly decorated. All 4 great soldiers. You had a total of 5. But you had this world-class marksman. And you had 4 others that were terrific soldiers, all at the highest level. Put your guns 100 yards away. You can't have guns. This whack job walks in and shoots them, kills them all. They never had a chance. I will end that so quickly on military bases. I will end that so quickly. And speaking of that, we have guys like, and I think I had a lot to do with the fact they're trying to get a little tougher, but I mention them. Again, our ability to negotiate, not just trade where everybody's ripping us. Every country in the world is ripping us off. Every country in the world. Everybody is. If you can't make money dealing with the United States, you don't have a very smart country, okay? Everybody makes money. Because the lobbyists and all of these people represent the countries and represent other people, and it's a real bad scene. And it's going to continue if you put any of these other people. It's not going to continue with me. But I always bring this up. We get a dirty, rotten, no-good traitor named Bergdahl, Sergeant Bergdahl. And they get 5 of the greatest people that they know, the biggest killers. And believe me, they're back in the, the press says, oh, they're not back in the battle. Believe me, folks, they're back in the battlefield, or they're going to be on really, and they want to kill everybody here, they want to kill everybody there. So we get this dirty, rotten, no-good traitor who 20 years ago would have been shot, who 40 years ago they would have done it within the first hour, and who now might not, and maybe nothing's going to happen. Don't forget, with Bergdahl, we lost at least 5 people, and I've watched the parents on television. I've seen the parents. I met one of the parents who's devastated, ruined, destroyed. And they were killed going out to try and bring him back. And they had lost 5 people, probably 6, by the way, but at least 5 people. And we knew that he was a traitor because we had a colonel and a general go and do the interviews before we made the deal. And everybody in the platoon, everybody was saying, he walked off, he's a traitor. And they said he's a whack job. But we made this deal knowing. Now, I would have said, oh, really, he's a traitor? Pass, let him have him, he's got him. Frankly, I would take that son of a bitch, I'd fly him back and drop him right over the top. I'm telling you. So we're going to win on trade because I told you I'm going to get the best people. And we're not going to have Ford move to Mexico as an example. Hey, again, I love Mexico. I love Mexican people. They're great people. I have thousands of Hispanics who work for me. In Nevada, just recently, they did a poll of Hispanics. I win. Because the people that are here legally don't want people coming in and taking their jobs. I win with Hispanic. So I'm going to win with African Americans because they're smart and they want jobs. And we're taking those jobs back from China and back from all these countries. And we're going to make more cars in this country. And we're going to do a lot of things that we would never think of doing. We lost in this country millions and millions of jobs to these people. 55,000 factories and manufacturing plants. 55,000! Who would think that's even possible? We lost millions of jobs to stupid transactions where they take everything. You go to places in Iowa, you go to Newton, Iowa, you see what happened there. You go up to anywhere in New England. But you go to New Hampshire, you see what's happened up there. They've lost their businesses. All for nothing. All because we have people that don't understand what's going on. So, I'll give you one example. And I always like telling because it's such a great example. You know Nabisco is leaving Chicago. They're moving to Mexico, right? We're not going to eat any more Oreos. Don't eat any more Oreos. Nabisco is moving one of their biggest plants to Mexico. Why? How does that help us, folks? How does it help us? They'll make cookies. They'll sell them to us. No tax, no nothing, right? But the Ford plant to me is the greatest. Ford is going to build a $2.5 billion plant. They're going to make cars, trucks, and parts in Mexico. They're going to sell them all over, but they're going to sell them right through the border. No tax, no nothing. Many plants are going to be closed in the United States. You know what $2.5 billion is for a one-story building for a plant? That is one hell of a plant. So plants are closing all over the place. And by the way, the car industry is doing fine because, frankly, this is now when you get free money. You know, everybody's getting free money. You know, it's like, that's sort of like a shot of scotch. They have your interest rates so low. Problem is, the only one that can have money are guys like me that don't need it. If you don't need the money, you can have as much as you want, and you'll pay 1.5% interest. If you need money and you're a great entrepreneur and everything's good, but you got to grow a business, the banks won't give you the money. Okay? They won't give you Dodd-Frank because the regulators run the banks. You know, when you see these guys, and they make far too much money, they make a fortune. They're heads of banks. They don't do anything. I've had guys tell me, we don't do things. I'll call up and ask for a reference to a friend of mine because I have a banker who's a friend. He'll say, Donald, we don't control it. The regulators are running the bank. What the hell are we doing? So we can't have people from this area and other areas that are vibrant and great. They can't open businesses. So we have things that are going to happen. I put in a tax plan. Larry Kudlow loves it. So many people. He's a great guy. So many people love my tax plan. We're lowering the taxes for the middle class. We're lowering them big league for business and the middle class, but we're lowering them big league for business. Right now, the United States is the highest taxed nation in the world. We are now corporate inversion. I don't know if anybody knows, but basically corporate inversion. Corporations are now moving out of the United States, and they're moving for two reasons. They can't get money back in because of the procedure and the tax and so many other reasons. So we have trillions of dollars, at least $2.5 trillion, outside. It's outside of they can't get their money back in. The Democrats agree it should come back in. The Republicans agree it should come back in. They've all agreed for years. They can't make a deal. And the reason they can't, because they don't have any leadership at the top. So now what's happening is companies like Pfizer, great company, thousands and thousands, they're leaving. They're moving to Ireland. But companies that are moving, they're leaving. They're leaving. Thousands and thousands of jobs. And these great companies, you know, in the old days, you'd have people, they'd move here, they'd move to Florida from New York or so. Now, they'll leave here and they'll move to Europe or they'll move to Asia. And they'll move other places. It's a different world. And we can't compete because we have the highest taxes. So we will change all of that. We are going to make our economy so dynamic and so strong, and we're going to bring those jobs back from China. I love China, but we're going to bring them back from China. Even China can't believe they're getting away with it. And they get away with it because what they do with their currency is unbelievable. They devalue their currency. They're like maestros, the greatest ever. Japan also. You know the story, a friend of mine with the Caterpillar tractors, always bought Caterpillars. He's an excavator. And he buys now Komatsu. He said, you can't compete with what they've done to the yen. They've so devalued the yen. Look at what's happened to Caterpillar stock. And I predicted this a year ago when my friend told me, he said, you couldn't compete. And he's always bought, his whole life, he's bought Caterpillar tractors. I said, are they better? He says, yeah, they're better a little bit. But I had an obligation to my family, to my company, to my employees. I got to do it. So he goes out and he buys from Japan tractors instead of Caterpillar. They are the greatest people for playing around with their currency. The greatest that there's ever been. And the greatest of all is China. You know, if you want to do a deal with China, you've got to suffer. When they do deals with us, they come right in. There's no taxes. You do deals with China, there is a tax. Nobody, they call it tariff. But there's big taxes. It's very hard to do. That's why we're going to lose this year on a trade deficit with China $505 billion. $505 billion. We're going to lose that. $505 billion. And by the way, I don't like this mic. Whoever the hell bought this mic system, don't be the son of a bitch to put it in, I'll tell you. These people. No, this mic is terrible. Stupid mic keeps popping. Do you hear that, George? Don't pay him. Don't pay him. You know, I believe in paying. But when somebody does a bad job, like this stupid mic, you shouldn't pay the bastard. Terrible. Terrible. It's true. And you got to be tough with your people because they'll pay. They don't care. They'll pay. So we're not going to pay. I guarantee you I'm not paying for this mic. Every 2 minutes I hear like boom, boom. Anyway, I hope it's okay for you out there, but it really is. Boy, you are real. Look at that place. Look up there. It's packed up to the rafters. Man. Holy mackerel. That is unbelievable. This is an unbelievable place. So we're going to, very simply, and I tell the story and I tell what we're doing. So Ford goes to Mexico, right? They're going to announce and they're going to build a big plant. And I tell this all the time, and I could tell different ones, but it's so descriptive. If Jeb or Marco or Ted or Hillary or Bernie, if they're president, they're not going to do anything about it. And if they wanted to, because they know the deal's no good, their lobbyists will come to them. You know, Hillary, you can't do that, Madam President, because so-and-so gave you $5 million and he owns a lot of stock in Ford. You can't do that. Or the head or Ford or whatever. Lobbyist, special interest. With me, it's real simple. I don't care. I'm going to do what's right for you and you. I'm going to do what's right for you. So here's what happens. They call Hillary, and they say, Madam President, Ford, this and that. Oh, no, I don't like the deal. You know, not stupid. I don't like the deal. Well, you can't do anything because these people all contributed to your campaign. They gave you $5 million. Oh, boy. I wish I did. No. Well, okay. Let them build it. Okay? Here's what happens to me. They come to me because I know these people. And they're smart and they're tough, but they're not tough like us. Believe me, they're not tough. So they'll come to me and they'll say, Mr. President, President Trump. They'll say, President Trump, it's really right. You should allow it. It's good for neighbors. It's good. Even though Mexico, by the way, is making a fortune. You talk about a trade deficit. And I'm not including all the drugs that pour across, okay? You could probably double it up. They go right through the wall. And by the way, we will build a wall. We will build a wall. We will build a wall. It's enough. Who's going to pay for the wall? Who's going to pay? They're going to pay for the wall. Now, the politicians come up, and some of them are actually nice people. They come up to me and they say, Donald, you can't have Mexico. They have no clue. They don't understand. They say, you can't have Mexico. Why do you say that? And I say, you don't understand. They're going to pay. They make so much money. The wall is peanuts. They're going to pay. One way or the other, mark my words, Mexico will pay for the wall, and it's going to be a real wall. See that ceiling up there? It's going to be a real wall. It's going to be a real wall. It's not going to be one of these walls where they actually, do you ever see it in Time Magazine or one of the magazines? They have a ramp, little ramp. They drive a truck up, down. The wall's like this tall. They show them, it's a picture in a magazine. They drive trucks over, loaded up with drugs and things. They drive them over, they come back. We get the drugs, they get the cash. Not a good deal, right? Not a good deal. And what we're doing, you know, in New Hampshire, they have a tremendous problem. You wouldn't think that. And we're going to end it. We're going to end that. We're going to stop it. We're going to make our country so strong. You can't do that when you have drug addiction all over the place because it's so cheap and so you can't do it. And these politicians won't stop. So they say, how are you going to do it? So Mexico's going to pay. 100%. Mexico took from Tennessee, a great state. They had a car company, a foreign car company. They were all set to make a deal, and all of a sudden they're going to Mexico now. And you know what I say? I say, not going to happen that way anymore. So they now come to President Trump, and they say, Mr. President, you have to let us build. This is very embarrassing. You have to let us build. I say, no. Why is it good? They'll try and explain. After about 2 seconds, I'll say, it doesn't work. I'll say, here's what it is. And I'll tell this to the president of Ford or whoever the hell wants to represent them. You will build in the United States, or we are going to tax you 35% every time you send a truck, a car, or a part over here. We're going to build. We're going to charge you 35% anytime you want to build your car in Mexico and send it over like we're a bunch of stupid people, like our former representatives. Not going to happen that way anymore. So, and here's what's going to happen. Mr. President, you're making a mistake. Please, we'll call you tomorrow. I said, you don't have to call me tomorrow. They'll call me tomorrow. I'll say, no, sorry, got to build over here. They'll say, Mr. President, we've decided to build our plant in the United States, okay? And in this case, hopefully Michigan, because they've lost a lot of stuff, okay? So hopefully, you don't mind, do you? Can we give it to Michigan? I think so, right? So, Obamacare. We're going to, it's always this. You know, I go to Dallas. We had an arena, the Mavericks arena, packed. Mark Cuban called, want to use the arena. I started selling on Thursday. By like Friday, the place was packed, and I had the event. Some of you were there. I had the event on Monday. I said, how the hell do you... We sold that thing out so fast. 20,000 people in Dallas, 35,000 people in Mobile, Alabama, 20,000 people in a park in Oklahoma, more than that, but 20,000 in a park in Oklahoma. You look at what happens in New Hampshire and Iowa and all of these places, South Carolina, we are doing numbers in South Carolina that's never been done before. We are doing, and you know what? The people are incredible people. They're really like you. You're from different states, you're from different areas, but the people are all the same. They want to see our country do well. They want to have strong borders. They want to have a strong military. They want to take care of our vets. We want to take care of our vets. So, I had something the other day, and I thought it was great, and some people probably do. I read it the other night, first time ever, and it was done by Al Wilson, the late, great Al Wilson, right? Great singer. And I thought it was great. Do you mind if I put on the glasses? It's getting to that time. I never thought in my life I'd need glasses. I need glasses. Okay, you ready? Just listen to this. Al Wilson, great singer, died a few years ago. It's called The Snake Lyrics. Now this I consider to be the line on migration because, you know, the people that are coming in, you just talk to the folks over in Germany. I have friends over there, they can't believe. Europe is being destroyed. It's being destroyed. And Obama wants to bring not 10,000, not 25,000, not 65, which they talked about in the debate, by the way. He wants to bring so many that you have no, and we don't know who they are. And we all have a heart. And I'm all for doing some kind of a safe zone someplace in Syria, which they'd probably prefer. But this could be the great Trojan horse, right? This could be the great Trojan horse. This could be the real deal. And I want to do, but I want the Gulf states to pay. They have so much money. Saudi Arabia made $1 billion a day, and we're protecting. We got to pay, when we protect people, they got to reimburse us at least, okay? The money that we're losing. South Korea. I mean, every time I order 4,000 television sets, I order thousands of television sets a year for different projects, right? They all come out of South Korea. Samsung, LG, all of them. They're all made in, I mean, Sony's in Japan, but Sony a little bit lost its way in all fairness. They're no longer competitive. I don't know what the hell happened to Sony. But all of these sets, you don't make televisions in here anymore. We don't make, you go all over the United States, they don't make television. So South Korea, we have 28,000 soldiers on the line, 28,000. And you have the madman over here, North Korea, and every week he's talking about we're going to send more nukes. You know, at some point, hey, by the way, we made a terrible deal with Iran. But remember this, and I said we shouldn't go and attack Iraq, and that was in 2003, 2004, and I should be given credit for vision, and I'm more militaristic than anybody in this room. And I said, don't do it. You'll absolutely ruin the balance of the Middle East, and that's what happened. So now what happens? Iran makes a deal, plus, they take over Iraq. So not only did they make a great deal, I thought that was one of the greatest deals I've ever seen. The greatest deal I've ever seen is they also got Iraq, second largest oil reserves in the world. Iran has it. And now you look at, they're going to have Syria, they're going to have Yemen, they're going to have everything. And they're going into Saudi Arabia. As soon as I saw the embassy burning, I said, that's Iraq. They're rich now, they're powerful, they're tough. You saw those poor guys today on the boat, the way that guy was shouting at him, the thug. And for us, you know, the apology, we're sorry, and they're down on their knees. I just hated to see that for our country. Okay, just remember that. We got them back, but remember, I told you before, we only got them back because they haven't gotten their money. If this would have taken place in 2 weeks from now, you wouldn't have gotten it back. Because they're smart. Let them go and pick up $150 billion. So where I thought about this, and I think it's an amazing thing actually, because it's life. We don't know what we're getting. They're not at all, under no circumstances are these people, if you look at it, they're not vetted, nobody has papers, nobody has anything. They're just putting people in. So I wanted to read this because I look at this, and perhaps you can look at it toward the migration. Ready? By Al Wilson. On her way to work one morning, down the path along the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor, half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. "Oh, well," she cried, "I'll take you in, and I'll take care of you." "Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. She wrapped him up, all cozy, in a curvature of silk, and then laid him by the fireside with some honey and some milk. Now she hurried home from work that night. As soon as she arrived, she found that pretty snake she'd taken in and revived. "Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. Now she clutched him to her bosom. "You're so beautiful," she cried. "But if I hadn't brought you in, by now you would have died." She stroked his pretty skin, and then she kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thank you, that snake gave her a vicious bite. "Take me in, O tender woman. Take me in, for heaven's sake. Take me in, O tender woman," sighed the vicious snake. "I saved you," cried the woman, "and you bit me. Heavens, why? You know your bite is poisonous, and now I'm going to die." "Oh, shut up, silly woman," said the reptile with a grin. "You knew damn well I was a snake before you took me in." I just read it, and I looked at it differently. I thought it was pretty great. And I'll tell you what, it's the second time I've ever read that. And to me, I just think, because we don't know what we're doing here. We're going to get bit. We're going to get bit. You know, if 2% are ISIS, it's big trouble. You saw what? 2 people, 2 young, married, radicalized people. And we have a president that won't even use the term, right? They won't even use the term. Radical Islamic terrorism, will not use the term, refuses to say it. And until you say it, and until you know you have a problem, you can't solve problems unless you know you have a problem. So, just a few more things, and I really appreciate this. It's overwhelming. It's amazing. It's amazing. And the press won't report it. Press won't report it. They'll say, Donald Trump made a speech tonight, wonderful speech, wonderful. Yeah, they won't say how many people are here. They won't say we had to send away 5,000 people. They don't do it. They don't do it. The worst are the camera guys, because they don't show it. They don't. Actually, the people that are the great, they don't think they have as good a seat, but they're the ones that are going to be stars because they're on every station tonight, right? They're on every single station. And the poor people, a lot of them, a few of them left, they're all standing now in the front row, but they don't realize you're much better off being there because you're going to become so famous. But just a couple of other things. So Hillary said recently, I don't like Donald Trump's tone. Okay? I don't. And I say, we're having people, Christians, in the Middle East, they're having their heads chopped off. Not since medieval times have we seen anything like this. And she's worried about my tone, okay? We need a tough tone. Do you think General Douglas MacArthur, General George Patton, we've had the greatest generals in the world, but MacArthur and Patton was so tough, you couldn't talk to him. He was foul-mouthed. He had a lot of problems. He was great. His people loved him. They'd die for him. They'd go wherever he wanted to go. And he used to stand up there with them. That's what we need. And we have people like that. but they're not politically correct, and they're probably not being trained. We have people like that coming out of West Point, coming out of Annapolis, coming out of the Air Force Academy. I know these people. We have great people. We don't use them. We have generals. Think of this. They're always on television. I don't want my generals on television. I don't want my generals on television. They're saying to one of the generals, he just left, nice guy, I'm not going to mention his name, very nice guy. How are we doing with ISIS? He's going, oh, they're very tough. Oh, they're very... Can you imagine George Patton saying they're tough? First of all, George Patton wouldn't waste his time talking to somebody. And if he was on television, he'd give the opposite answer, okay? And the other thing is, we have to be unpredictable. I said, kill the oil. And I've been saying this how many years? 3, 4 years. We got to stop the oil. And I said, kill it and take it. I said, take it and give some of the money to the wounded warriors, to the vets and the families that have lost incredible people. Because we've spent in Iraq $2 trillion, lost thousands of incredible, young, beautiful lives. Wounded warriors who we all love, more guts than all of us. Wounded warriors all over the place. Incredible people. And we have nothing. We have nothing. And right now, as sure as you're standing here, Iran has taken over Iraq. They've already got control of it. For years they'd fight. For years, for centuries, they'd go, whoa, 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 back, forth. They were the same militarily. Once we decimated Iraq, Iran just sat back and licked their chops. But we had a chance in 2009, Hillary Clinton, if they did something, you know, when they were having the big riots in Iran, that was the chance. And instead of helping out a little bit, just by giving some words of encouragement, we ended those riots. And I've never understood that one. But now, on top of that, we make this deal. There's something going on. There's something really going on. But in 2009, we could have done some incredible things. And we didn't do it. So now Iran is taking over everything. And they've done it with our money. We decimated Iraq. They've done it with our money. So I just want to tell you, and just in finishing, I've said so many different things, whether it's oil, whether we're writing about Osama bin Laden in the book before he knocked down the World Trade Center. So many signals, so many things. We don't win anymore. We're going to start winning. We're going to win with health care. We're going to win with trade. We're going to rebuild our military. It's going to be bigger and better and stronger than ever before. And we're going to take care of our vets, our greatest people. We are going to strengthen up our border, and we're going to build the wall, and we're going to have something that's going to be absolutely great. And we're going to let people come in, but they're going to come in legally. They're going to come in legally. And we're going to win so much, and I say it, and I mean it. We're going to win so much. We're going to win with all of those things. Healthcare, everything. We're going to win at everything we do. And other countries are going to respect us because we're winners. We're not losers. And we're not going to be kissing ass when 10 wonderful people get captured. We're going to win at every single level. We're going to win so much, you're going to beg me. You're going to say, Mr. President, we're so tired of winning, we can't take it anymore. Please, don't win anymore. Mr. President, please have 1 or 2 losses. And I'll say, no, I won't do that. I won't do that because we are going to make America so great again. We are going to make America great again. The American dream is dead, but we're going to make it bigger and better and stronger than ever before. And I love you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm